It's not lost on me, by the way, the contradiction of how I'm like, I should stop chasing characters down. Let's go west and collect more stories. And then I'm like chasing a character down, trying to finish them off. Funny how that goes. Still, it makes sense though. Really, it's like, it's a back and forth between two extremes is what this playthrough is. Going on expansions to get more powerful, and then also trying to make progress towards the main story, the main goal, and all that. It's kind of both at once is what's going on, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, hey, right here. Listen to this. He works his way through a long and strange story about a witch girl and her kitten familiars. Oh, it's probably the weird lady with the... No, not the corpse. It's probably the girl with the basket. The girl with the basket of kittens, yep. Great story. Thanks, I heard it from my brother. My cat story grows stronger. Yes. Wait, no, I want to go east. There we go. I think that's the strategy. Oh, is that abusable? Let's find out if that's abusable. Won't that be interesting if it turns out? I'm really curious. Do those replenish every time you log back into the game? Because, well, if nothing else, that'll make it very quick and easy for me to power up all my stories. Oh my god. Oh, that frame rate, by the way. The man can barely wait to get through the pleasantries before asking if you heard the story. He didn't say it yet, though. The legendary Gwen Michette, the richest of most ruthless bootlegger ever. You recognize the bones of it and experience the yes, the shootout with the female bootleggers. Yeah. Now it's the legendary Gwen Michette. Interesting. This game's very rough. It's a cool idea, but its design has some really rough elements. And that may be a good example of it, is the idea that, like, you can apparently just fucking log in and out over and over again while standing next to one of these spots that powers up your stories, and it'll power your stories up better. What a thing to realize. Huh. I might need to do this for a while, honestly. It might be a good idea to abuse this for a bit. Just because I get stories way more often than I get stronger. These stories, I feel like I get like 5 new stories for every one time a story gets powered up. So I might hang out and power them up for a bit here, because frankly, the shorter this playthrough is, the better, I think, for all of us. I think this game might be... it's gonna be pretty long. It'd be kind of nice if I could get a little bit of a boost for its ending faster. Because I think we're all interested in what's going on here, but the grind is something that's been hovering over my head, of like the process of grinding the stories to make them stronger so I can have enough of an inventory to beat each character. That's kind of a bummer. I'd still like to like pick up every story I encounter as I'm walking towards each of these people and finishing their stories, but I just don't have that powerful of stories, and every new story I get is another level 1 story. The only way to make them stronger is these eyeballs, and they're weirdly rare? Like, really weirdly rare. Yeah, this might be a montage episode where we grind for a bit. You ate in the soup line. Topic drifts to a strange place, tells you about a man who heard his death approaching. He recognizes the story of the man who seemed alright with death. He heard his death approaching. I mean, he seemed to hear his death approaching in the original story. Maybe not literally, but like, he seemed to be like, I'm gonna die like now-ish. And then he died now-ish, which is weird. Hey, you wanna hear a good story? He stumbles before quickly telling the story about a man who ate only molasses. Confusing himself now and again, backtracking, adding new details out of order. He barely pieced the story together. He ate only molasses? Oh no. You realize he's told you a twisted version of the story about the man who made molasses, but massively changed. Yeah. It's a little concerning, honestly. Hey, Rick was telling us a story. Story about 60 unidentified corpses buried together in one cemetery. You realize it's the story of the anonymous grave, but changed. It's about the same, yeah. I guess now it's becoming a mass grave, which is even more morbid than anonymous ones. Kindly old man sharing shade under the bridge tells you a few rambling stories. Some true seeming, some conspicuously less so. All true, he assures you. There's history in this place, going all the way back to Indian times. Strange stuff happens around here. It can't all be true. Sure it is, he scoffs. Then as if to prove himself right, he launches into a story about the vengeful ghost who kills anyone who summons it. And this one, you know. It's the story of a ghost who punished spiritualists for their hubris, but wilder and stranger. Our skepticism is both earned and unearned, isn't it? On one hand, we know these stories are false, but on the other hand, we know that their root was true because we were there, and their root was also pretty fucking crazy. You share this bus stop with an old man who shifts from foot to foot, thumbing his suspenders and watching the passing traffic with anxious focus. Hey, he blurts suddenly, turning towards you. You want to hear a good story? With the air of a man who's distracted himself from something, he stumbles quickly through a tale about murdering twins who cannibalized their third brother. Confusing himself now and again. Backtrack. Yep, that's the one. Quickly realizes a twisted version of the murdering twins, but massively changed. Yeah, because they weren't cannibals before. Whoops. Getting worse. Yeah, they wanted to kill their third brother. It's just they fucked up and killed the wrong one. Well, one of them fucked up and killed the other wrong one. The other one was the original target. Whoops. Oh. My compass rose has a weird effect on the shadows around it, doesn't it? Yeah. That's interesting. Huh. They launched into a group recitation of the water that turned into wine for the thirsty pickers, interrupting one another in the excitement to tell it. It's the story of the thirsty cotton pickers. Damn. These fictional versions of them are having a hell of a day, although I don't know if the wine was any more hydrating. Hey, you want to hear a wild story? He starts telling you about Johnny Appleseed, who roamed the country planting trees beneath his feet. For compliments, we recognize the story about the apple orchard planter who planted 10,000 trees. Ah, recognition. I barely know Johnny Appleseed, but yeah, I've heard that name. I've heard of Johnny Appleseed. That's what that whole thing was. The sad guy planting plants. Hey, context. The policeman in the truck on this corner is having a pretty wild argument with someone on the other end of the radio. No, he keeps saying, no way. You listen in as the man on the radio finishes a wild story about the legend of Casey Jones. I swear this is what happened, the cop over the radio insists. When it clicks, you know the story. It's a strange version of the story of Casey Jones, the fastest railroader in America, but with some bits left or replaced. Ain't true, the cop in the truck sighs. If only he knew. Casey Jones, I've heard that name. Kind of. These are turning out to be slightly more familiar than I thought they were in some of these cases. But I can't. If somebody just was like, yo, what's Casey Jones? I'd be like, I think I might have a Patreon supporter named that. We're in the soup line again. The topic drifts, starts telling you the story about a hotel haunted by the ghosts of twin toddlers. That's not... basically just the story I started with. We're just being explicit about them being spooky ghosts as opposed to being like, I don't know, where'd they go? There weren't any toddlers here. You heard this one before? It's the story of the tree bottles and the branches. I accidentally clicked past the part where they tell you in the new version. It's, the vulgar ghost trapped in the bottle. Oh. There's a swearing ghost inside of the bottles and the trees now? Okay, I mean, it's funnier now, I suppose. He launches into a wild story about the newspaper that found the positive side of the dust storms. Halfway through, he stops, recognizing the look on your face. You know this one? Yeah, I do. It's the guy that would only print smart things no matter what. I'm curious to see what the third version of that is going to be that makes it so worth being shared as a story. He launches into a story about the vigilantes who hunt grave robbers across the Midwest. This one, you know, it's the story of the grave robber at the burial mound, but wilder and stranger than you remember. Now there's vigilantes that are tracking these boys down, these naughty boys. I feel a little bad because it's technically an exploit, but at the same time, you know, you want to efficiently progress to some extent, and this is like, this is one of those times where like they've accidentally created this kind of incentive system because they made these things weirdly scarce, even though they're the #1 thing you want to find besides the campers themselves. Huh. There's not even a way to find them, like they're not on your map. There's no tracker. But they're also just not common, which is weird because like these stories quickly morphing into like crazy versions themselves has to happen a lot. You need to find the third version of every single story if you want to find out like what they're talking about, what the real life legend is that it's about. So there should be a lot of these, right? I don't know. I feel like there's like a structural mistake being made here. I do apologize to spend this entire episode hearing the beginning of the same song over and over again, though. Tells you the story of a mysterious woman preaching the gospel to all who would listen. It's the person that wanted you to go to church. Yeah, it's getting more dramatic. It's just somebody preaching on a corner, though, isn't much of a story. It's his go-to. He's a boring storyteller. Dude, I got stories about demons. Hey, it's the argument again. Radio finishes a wild story about the ghost who's murdering the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra. I swear this happened. It's the mischievous ghosts. Wow. It's the ones that just got tricked into playing the triangle. Now they're murderers. Jesus. That's not funny anymore, huh? Launches in the story about a dust monster that sucks the moisture out of living things. And this one, you know, it's the story of the monster in the maelstrom. It's not that much wilder, honestly. We started with a monster. Honestly, I kind of wish that all my stories... There's no winning here, is there? Because I'm kind of wishing that all of my stories started out as mundane and morphed into something beyond my control, into something crazy and wild, like the Jersey Devil. But like, I saw a ghost deer get hit by a train. I saw a goat with wings. I wish that these stories started out as more mundane and then morphed into crazy things. But a lot of these started crazy, like, in my version of the story, there's a monster in the maelstrom. It should have just been a story about a crazy storm, and then I tell people about it and it becomes about a monster, and be like, oh, damn, that's crazy, that's interesting. And it'd be like a fun story about the mundane origins of crazy stories that we tell each other, because that's how stories morph and expand and all that, and that's really interesting. But I only get to experience the first part of the story. So inherently, the writers want to make those parts interesting because that's the only part that I actually get to experience as a real story. And that's kind of the problem, is that ideally they would write full conversations for all these people that are warping the stories. At least for the final version, when it becomes the Jersey Devil, for example, you would hope that that version of the story would be like told to me in detail and all embellished and all that, and then I could be like, oh, I can see where that came from, that's interesting. But I only get to hear the first version in detail, which inherently makes them want to tell that one and make it kind of interesting because it's my story. But they made them too interesting in many cases, which means that the embellishments often are almost unnoticeable because it's like, it's already started crazy. And I feel like it would have been slightly more interesting as a premise if all these were more believable stories when they first happened, and then they morphed into something fantastical. So I don't know, I got a few mixed feelings there. He launches into a wild story about how there ain't been a man hired to any job anywhere in New York City for over a month. Damn. That's even worse than the one guy that had to travel 600 miles to find a job. Oh, that's the finished version. That was just the poor guy that had to leave his wife or girlfriend or whatever, his SO, because he had to go find work elsewhere in order to keep them afloat. Then it became, man, that guy walked 600 miles to now New York City ain't had a job in a month. After gossiping for a while about the weather and the crops and the state of the world, all bad and getting worse, he takes a different tack. You look like someone who likes a good story, he wheezes. Try this on for size. After loudly and repeatedly clearing his throat, he tells you a story about a man who swam into the ocean to escape his troubles. Sounds a lot like the story of the man on the beach in Miami despairing about the future plus two. Some kind of weird syntax bug there. With parts changed and added. A waitress at the diner sharing an outlandish tale with one of her regulars. I heard it from my sister-in-law, she says. It happened to her daughter's friend, it's true. She notices you listening. Hey, have you heard this one before? She regales you with the story of the headless Haitian of Sleepy Hollow. I figured that was Sleepy Hollow, the headless person. A headless person on a horse certainly sounds like Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow's American, though? That's what I didn't know. I thought it was English. Halfway through, you realize the story of the rider in the woods, but highly embellished. I mean, it literally started as a headless guy on the horse. Like, see what I'm talking about here? Just seems like there basically wasn't embellished. She regales you the story about a boy who lives in the woods with the bones of his father. Damn. Damn. I guess in the narrative, there's a bit of justice, and the father gets his for his abandonment in response to the previous version of the story, I suppose. You realize the story of the brothers who wandered seek one another for 50 years. I lost track of it again, damn it. Two brothers who sought one another for 50 years, their spirits still... Fuck. I'm bad at this. It sounds like it's the same story still, though. About... There's some of those where I'm really bad at spotting that the story is happening on the first page. Ah, dang. Look at me, I've done it. That's good. So it's essentially, it's like me burning through my backlog. So now, whatever cache the game stores at once of all the stories you've told, they've all been spent up. Now I can go get back to the task of going after the campers themselves. That sounds way more threatening than I mean for it to be. It sounds like I'm Jason. I'm gonna go after them campers. So hopefully this format's not too jarring. If you think it's rough on you, it's rough on me. I gotta edit all those individual clips together into one video. And also now I don't know how long that'll be until I'm done editing, so I can't do my usual thing where I record for one episode's worth of time at a time, and then I already know how many episodes I've recorded. It won't be till I edit that I know how many episodes I accomplished today. Which is sloppier, messier, unfortunate. Oh. Ooh, that whistling crossed with that performance drop. That was some struggle.
Surrounded by fields of corn and rye, a small farm lies fallow. Its tiny stable crumbles into disrepair, and foxtails sprout from its fields.
Enter the farmhouse.
Inside, the sunlight filtering in through two small windows turns to hazy gray shafts in the thick dust that blankets the interior. There's not much in the way of furniture, but on a rustic kitchen table, a handwritten note catches your eye. Never opened. It's addressed to Martha and unsigned. Her name is written in the stiff letters of a man for whom literacy is more a formality than habit. If you find this, I'm already gone. Don't come looking for me. The rest is scratchy spirals and circles of halfway readable writing about the noises from the cellar and the hunger in the darkness. The cellar door at the edge of the abandoned kitchen calls to your attention.
Not the first time we've had a note from a man to a woman, and where the man vanished. Go down into the cellar.
The door is unlatched. The ground below is deeply stained with some dark residue you can't identify. Upon it, only ancient piles of chains and manacles, slowly turning to rust.
Distressing. Worrying. What do you look like? This is it, right? Our chance. Oh. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? That's a lot to take in. Why is his mouth white? He seems to be covered in black for one reason or another. He's wrapped in barbed wire. His horse is a skeleton with smoke coming out of its eyes, propped up against a cactus.
Keep moving there, stranger. You wouldn't want me to... Oh, it's you. Sorry about that, amigo. Been quite a while. This desert sun will bleach your memory. Raymond Edward Dawson, or Ryan Ray. It's all over the posters now with a hefty sum attached to them. I'm going by will now. This here's my new horse, Ghost. Couldn't stand seeing those damn fences no more, so I started cutting them. Landed me in the clink a few times, but I got good at cutting through there, too. But anyway, you know some funny stories, right?
He's still hating those a funny story. Not sure if I'm prepared. Preaching gospel to all who listen. No, it's that's supposed to be like a happy one. Not sure what Appleseed even counts as. Found a positive side of the dust storms. That's kind of funny, right?
You're funny as hell, you know that?
I hoped so.
But talking about my choices, my recent choices, I didn't set out trying to hurt no one. But the more I see men trying to bring harm to the desert, the more I feel like I gotta stand up for her. So, you know any good jokes?
Damn, you're all about jokes today, huh? You're a jokey boy. Oh, Quinn's level 1, isn't he? So he's not even good. Old Barney the Scarecrow. I mean, it seems kind of funny, but no, it's supposed to be haunted, wasn't it? Strangely clean. That might almost be funny. Murdering twins ate their own brother. The girl with the... Oh, right. That wasn't the girl with the basket. It was the girl with the wheelbarrow of cats. Right. Man who ate only molasses. That's hilarious. Ain't it? Ain't it?
Oh, come on, amigo.
Fact.
You and I can skip that happy fake stuff, all right? Happiness is hard for me to find these days. Everywhere you look now, roads, fences, power lines, garbage. Garbage left by men who feel like they ought to control everything. wherever they go. But when I find those pristine views, unmarred by man's footprints, well, everything's all right. So, you know any good jokes?
Oh, you son of a bitch. Why are you all about jokes today? What's your deal? Thought we had a thing going on. How's the guy that eats some molasses all day not a funny story? Fuck it, here's Franklin. I can spend these people on you a little bit. We're gonna have to take 2 runs.
That's a good one. I'm gonna tell that one next time I share a campfire. About sorrow. When I see the desert tied down, cut up, priced, and sold, I feel it as sure as if it were my own self. Like how it felt in that cell when those sons of bitches came around, bored, looking for someone to beat on. But anyway, amigo, what's the most exciting thing you've seen out here on the road?
Exciting. I got some exciting stories, don't I? What, are the ladies here? Oh, did I take them out? I don't think I currently have shootout in here. Shit. It'd be really helpful if these were categorized in a more helpful way. Come on. Exciting. But not scary, because scary is a different category. Don't fuck it up. There's an arsonist burning down gambling dens all over the country. That's pretty exciting, right? That's not scary. It's just scary, but not scary.
What a story. Man, I'd never go bored sharing a campfire with you. Praying for one last bit of luck to come and push me and Ghost over the border to Mexico. I can take it from there. But anyway, you know some funny stories, right?
No. I'm out of funny stories, I'm pretty sure. No. Is Johnny Appleseed funny? Like, I don't fucking know. Almost everything's a monster. I gotta hope Quinn can push him over. Come on, Quinn, you can do it. Even though you're level 1, I'm pretty sure, so this is a waste of time.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna tell that one next time I share a campfire. Travel? I'll never stop moving now, even if I wanted to. I'll never bind myself to one place, and to hell with anyone who tries to force me to. The sun's coming up, amigo. I've got to get going. Take my advice. Keep off the roads. The open country's safest. The desert's harsh, but at least it's fair. I'm cutting overland this way.
Damn.
Usually I don't have anyone I can tell my plans to, but I know you. Well, you understand this country. You've been all over it too. People like us, we're the kind who can't live no other way.
Damn, damn, damn. I gotta quit more funny stories. He got fixated on that theme, and that's my worst one. It's really hard to tell what this game even thinks is funny. You want to hear a wild story? Tell you, a newspaper made up stock prices after Black Tuesday to stave off depression. It just made them up. It just lied about the stocks. You recognize the story of the newspaper that found the positive side of the dust storms. That's very different from the previous story. Very different. That should be him right up there. Oh, we're in luck. There's a crossing. Rivers are my fucking bane. Rivers and mountains. Like, if they go across a river or a mountain, I'm like, oh no, I'm actually in trouble, aren't I? How am I gonna get over there? With my newfound powers, I might be able to clear out some of the guys back east. I want to finish this guy first, though, because he'll give me the ability to teleport back to here using his item. I've never used one yet, so I need to test that out, probably with the dice. Or maybe by testing out his. But I'm under the impression you can use them to teleport to where that person was, and you can do it infinite times. I don't know, I think it's where you first met them, not where you last met them, because they wander around a lot, so if they were trying to strategically place them in useful locations, it'd probably be where you first met them. We're going to Kansas City! I almost moved to Kansas City once. That's funny. Kansas City has the really weird fact of the fact that it's a city that exists in 2 different states. One of the weird things about that is that they have tax incentives where you get a nice little windfall if you move into either of the if you move your business into either of the states that Kansas City is in, then you get a nice little windfall from that. But Kansas City is in 2 different states, so people move from back and forth across the state line in the same city and take advantage of that bonus, and it's a little weird. It's a little one of those hilarious quirks of government plus capitalism. Massively inefficient. Resource-wise, it's inherently wasteful. It's the story of the man who made only molasses. I accidentally skipped it again. Molasses that multiplied to feed a whole town. Aww. It's a little American Hanukkah. Poverty Hanukkah.
Ride with us a little while, stranger. It's a kind offer. Miles of dusty road through the rolling prairies have recast this landscape as an exhausting soup of wind and misery.
Climb aboard the wagon.
There are 4 of them on the wagon. A perfect nuclear family. Mother, father, son, daughter, and a small fuzzy terrier trailing behind. But the pace of their movement is glacial. The draft horse ambles forward, one agonizingly slow step at a time.
Why so slow?
Ain't no point rushing to get where we're going. The wooden cart shivers with every pebble on the road that its wheels must laboriously traverse. The girl in the back pipes up.
The going's the point, see?
Time stretches wearily. The father sometimes makes half-inch adjustments to the horse's trajectory, keeping him from ambling off the road. There is some intimation that they are heading for Oregon, but at no point is it mentioned when they might arrive.
Bizarre. How slow going is it going? At some point it'd be like uncomfortable for the horse to walk any slower than like a walking speed. Because otherwise you're like... It'd have to be like doing weird play walking where it's pretending and like walking slow on purpose and stuff, which it would be a hell of a sight. And without any kind of momentum, it's like probably taking more work to move than normal.